Our mini deep dive series into early 3D platform games continues with exploring the ins and outs of Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64.
Mario! Hello!
Dear Mario, please come to the castle. I have baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach.
Released for the Nintendo 64 in 1996 for Japan and North America and in 1997 for Europe and Australia, Super Mario 64 is the 8th entry in the Super Mario series and was one of 2 launch titles in English territories for the 5th generation console, along with Pilot Wing 64. Despite its name, the game runs in 32-bit, like most Nintendo 64 games at the time, but that does nothing to diminish the fact that since its release, Super Mario 64 has been widely acclaimed as one of the greatest, one of the most important, and one of the most influential video games of all time. It put Charles Martinet's voice portrayal as Mario on the map and introduced Princess Toadstool's name as Peach in the West. The plot, in a nutshell, is after Princess Peach invites Mario around for cake, but before he arrives, Bowser has invaded the castle, kidnapped her, and hidden all the castle's power stars. As Mario, your task is to collect these stars to unlock sections of the castle, reach Bowser, and rescue Peach. The idea of the game was conceived during the development of the 1993 game Star Fox for the SNES due to the power of 3D from the Super FX chip. After a solid year of design work, production began in September 1994, lasting 20 months. The camera system came first, as you'd expect, and although it became a standard for the genre to come, ultimately it would be the thing that took the brunt of the critics' criticisms for the finished product. The game was never planned to be totally free-roaming 3D from the start, with the beginning section involving a fixed path structure and an isometric viewpoint similar to Super Mario RPG for the SNES. It was clear Nintendo wanted the game to be their baby, so to speak, and completed a great deal of work in-house instead of outsourcing, including a wealth of development and refinement into the illustrations and animations, all while thinking, how can we best create the illusion of depth? Director-producer Miyamoto reportedly turned to the N64 initially due to the number of buttons the system's controller had over that of its processing power. However, that power was also instrumental in making Mario as expressive as possible to, in his words, create the feeling of controlling something that's really alive. The first test for controls and physics involved Mario interacting with a golden rabbit that the team named Mips, after the console's architectural processor, and the golden rabbit was included in the game as a power star holder you needed to chase and catch. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, was being developed alongside Super Mario 64, but not released for over 2 years afterwards. An interesting fact is, as the game was so abundant with puzzles, some, although I wasn't able to confirm exactly which ones, were taken out of the game and feature in Ocarina of Time. At the 1993 Consumer Electronics Show, where Star Fox made its debut, Nintendo's booth demonstrated a talking 3D polygon animation of Mario's head, which led to the interactive Mario face you see in the title screen. This feature was programmed by Charles Goddard, who left school for Argonaut Games and helped, in conjunction with Nintendo, to bring us one of the very few Game Boy games that incorporated 3D titled X, before leaving for Kyoto to work for Nintendo themselves at just 18 years of age. A first playable prototype, being just 50% complete and containing perhaps 2% of texture maps, was demoed at Nintendo Space World in November 1995. Miyamoto pushed for a lot more courses in the game than the 15 we received. Preferably he wanted 40, and this prototype already contained 32. Nintendo of America chairman Howard Lincoln stated that Miyamoto's desire to add so many courses was the primary reason that led to the delay of the Nintendo 64 release from Christmas 95 to the summer of 96. Super Mario 64 is the first 3D game in the franchise, but isn't, as you'll know from following this series, the first 3D platform game, although it introduced and solidified many of the controls and conventions of the genre, even if many were implemented from the 2D 1994 game Donkey Kong on the Game Boy. These include triple jumping, ground pounding, long jumping, diving and side somersaulting. Punching and kicking was also introduced, but interestingly, apart from its DS remake, didn't appear in any later Mario game. Many aspects in the game are there to showcase the N64's features, from its impressive scale of environments from in-game cutscenes to the console's controllers and the analog stick's precision, requiring Mario to walk slowly or even tiptoe to sneak up on enemies. A new 8-segment health meter or power meter is introduced in the game, which is replenished after Mario bumps into obstacles or is hit by enemies by collecting 3 types of coins, yellow, red and blue, equating to 1, 2 and 5 segments respectively. Segments can also be replenished through running through spinning hearts and I didn't remember this one, Mario jumping into water. But not underwater, as the health meter counts down segments as a representation of the amount of breath he has remaining. During the first 3 months of 1997, Super Mario 64 had become the second best-selling N64 game behind Mario Kart 64, and by March 2008, Super Mario 64 had sold close to 12 million copies worldwide and was the best-selling Nintendo 64 game to date. The game is mission-based through 15 courses accessed by jumping through paintings on the walls of Mushroom Castle, later through portals, and while being fairly non-linear, widely vary in nature from racing NPCs, defeating enemies, or reaching a map location. However, there are missions that require specific items or powers to complete, such as Mario activating blocks containing the Wing Cap, Vanish Cap, and Metal Cap. In nearly all courses, the goal is a Power Star. Touching one completes the level and returns Mario to the castle. Some courses can only be accessed once you've accumulated enough Power Stars, and even though there's a possible 120 of them in the game, Mario only requires 70 to access the final level. This was intentional, and not all are found within courses, not just for replayability purposes, but for gamers to debate what it actually means to complete the game. For example, once 120 Power Stars have been collected, Yoshi can be found on the roof of Princess Peach's castle, who will give you a message from the developers, along with 100 extra lives and improved triple jump. Director and series creator Shigeru Miyamoto wanted Super Mario 64 to be a game where players create their own vision, and this blossomed as the scrapping time limits that were often a feature of prior games in the series. Players were largely free to interact with the world in ways they wanted to. With larger spaces, this didn't funnel the player towards one goal or action, and encouraged exploration, experimentation, and even moral decisions, an infamous one being whether to drop cute baby penguin off the icy cliff edge or not. Sometime after the game's release, rumours about glitches, stars and hidden characters circulated, the most notable being the widely publicised hoax that Luigi was a hidden but fully playable character. This wasn't just cooked up out of thin air, because interestingly the developers tried to include a multiplayer co-op mode within the game, where both Mario and Luigi could be controlled via a split-screen mode, but hardware constraints and the complexity of coding led to its removal. The game also produced many game fans, many mods, along with a large speedrunning community. Very real and established glitches include the backwards long jump, which lets Mario slide up any staircase, including the endless stairs, and the Black Room of Death, which traps Mario behind the boundaries of the castle walls. The occasion when Mario's hat goes missing was reported to be a glitch or perhaps secret discovery, although this was very much designed by the development team as a bit of fun, and can often be found again where it got knocked off or from an NPC that stole it. Super Mario 64 set many precedents for 3D platformers. Many of the entire genre's conventions were drastically rethought, placing emphasis on exploration over traditional platform jumping. It inspired the creation of many prominent games outside the genre, such as GoldenEye, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Kingdom Hearts, and the Assassin's Creed and Grand Theft Auto series. As you can imagine, Super Mario 64 won a substantial number of awards, which I won't go through now one by one, but here's a table of the game's Wikipedia page to summarise. Do you consider the only true way of completing the game is by collecting all 120 stars? You not fussed? Or have you achieved the magic 120? If so, definitely let us know in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching all the way to the end of the video, and if you enjoyed this content, we'll be releasing more mini deep dives into further 3D platform games soon, so please subscribe so you don't miss out. Till next time!